You know, there's so much we have to enjoy. And not only did he create all this for us to enjoy, but he gave us the means to enjoy that. Think about it, right? Your eyes. If you didn't have your eyes, how would you enjoy the beauty that God has put out there? If you didn't have your ears, how would you enjoy the sounds he's created and the music? I just can't wait to get to heaven when we hear heavenly music that is going to be far superior to anything we've ever heard. As beauty as some of the songs are that we have heard, it's going to be just astronomically greater. And our study from Sabbath school with the Great Controversy and climaxing on heaven and the New Jerusalem and all of what God has prepared for us, prepared for his people that want to live with him forever. It's just amazing. It's mind-blowing, really, when you think about it. So, we know that in Acts, it says, Acts 4:12 tells us, salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given by which we must be saved. What about the person that never heard of Christ? Can they be saved? It says right here, no one else. There is no salvation except through Christ, right? So, if we don't know Christ, if they don't know Christ, how are they going to be saved? Have you ever thought about that? Think about somebody in the jungle that not even near society, right? They don't know anything about cell phones and, internet and all this stuff, right? What a blessing that would be in a lot of ways, right? How are they going to learn of salvation, the opportunity that Christ has given to all of us? There's a painting. I haven't actually seen it, but I heard about it through a sermon, actually. It's a Western Apache Indian painting. Apache, thank you. It's painted by Don Cook. I tried to find it on the internet, but I couldn't find it. It shows two white children, 6 years and 4 years old, huddled together, afraid to death, a short distance from their burning home, and a barn with horses running away. Two Apache, what'd you say? Apache, thank you. Two Apache Indians on horses running towards these two little children huddled together. One with an angry face and a tomahawk ready to kill. And the other one, kindness on his face, racing up to cut off the other one in its path in an effort to protect the children. Just think of that painting. Doesn't that say so much about what's going on? So who taught those two Indians right versus wrong? We are wired, we are created to love God, our Creator. If we understand Him and have a relationship with Him, He wants us to have, He gives us free will, free choice. And He is on a quest to communicate His love and character to us in hopes that we'll say yes. In Proverbs 19:22, it tells us, what a man desires is unfailing love. 1 John 4 tells us God is love. And isn't that what we're all longing for? Is true, unconditional love. We all want this, whether we realize it or not. Jesus gives light to everyone. Let's take a look at the text that Don read for us. John 1. John 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it. There came a man who was sent from God, and his name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all men might believe. All men might believe. So God has a large task in front of him, doesn't he? He wants to reveal himself to all men, even those that don't have internet and cell phones and have never heard of Christ, right? He wants to reveal himself to all men. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to every man was coming into the world. He was in the world, and through the world was made through... He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came, which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who receive him, to those who believe in his name, he gave the right to become the children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision, or a human husband's will, but born of God. God will never force us to make a decision for or against him. It's totally up to us. The Bible is God's self-disclosure of what he's like. It's given to us to reveal his character. But it's not just the Bible that reveals God's character. It's in nature all around us. There is so much out there that reveals God's character. It's everywhere. Take a look at Zechariah. Zechariah, right near the end, the second to the last book of the Old Testament. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 6. Chapter 13, verse 6. If someone asks him, "What are these wounds on your body?" he will answer, "The wounds I was given at the house of my friends." So why would they be asking about the wounds? They've never heard of his sacrifice. In Acts 10, Peter began to speak. "I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts men from every nation who fear him and do what is right." And that was a revelation that God gave the disciples early on, that he is not a respecter of person or any other division that we humans put on people. Acts 17:20, starting with verse 26, "From one man he made every nation of men, that they should inhabit the whole earth. And he determined the times set for them in the exact places where they are to live." Think about that. God set up, planned ahead when we would be born, where we would be born, and where we would live. God did this so that men would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he's not far from each one of us. How do these people who have never heard of the name of Jesus get to heaven? We can see God's love in nature all around us. From Patriarchs and Prophets, it tells us, "Science brings from her research only fresh evidences of the wisdom and power of God. Rightly understood, both the book of nature and the written word make us acquainted with God by teaching us something of the wise and beneficent laws through which he works. So, let's take a look at a few things in nature. Let's take a look at some of the amazing things God has created for us to enjoy. So, go ahead, Kevin, and show that first picture. That is Rosie and Cozy. Rosie's the white, she's a female, and the red dog is Cozy. He's a male. Did you know that the part of a dog's brain devoted to analyzing smells is proportionally speaking 40 times greater than ours? 40 times. So when you think, boy, this really stinks, imagine that 40 times for the dog. Or the reverse is also true. That's why dogs are trained, when I say reverse, bad smell versus good smell. That's why dogs are trained to search and rescue people after avalanches and earthquakes and mudslides. The average dog's nose is tens of thousands times more sensitive to odors as ours. For comparison, if we were to illustrate this by using the sense of vision, what humans could see at... wait a minute now. Okay, for comparison, if we were to illustrate this by the sense of vision, what humans could see at 1/3 of a mile, a dog could see more clearly 3,000 miles away. Now, they're comparing that to smell, okay? That's just a visual for the smell comparison. While we might notice a teaspoon of sugar added to our lemonade, a dog could detect a teaspoon of sugar in 1,000,000 gallons of water, okay? The equivalent of 2 Olympic-sized pools, teaspoon. Experts have reported incredible stories of drug-sniffing dogs that located marijuana in a plastic container submerged in gasoline within a gas tank. Then there's the cancer-sniffing dog that can detect a microscopic spot of melanoma on a patient's skin. While a dog may not always smell pretty, their sense of smell is pretty amazing. Did you know that the Bible talks about a man who was deceived through his sense of smell? In Genesis 27, then his father Isaac said to him, "Come near now and kiss me, my son." And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his clothing and blessed him. Some facts about the, let's see here. Yeah. The facts about the human eye, for example. We talked briefly about eyes and how important they are for us to see what's out there and the beauty God has given us. Our eyes are so intricately detailed, it's unbelievable. The front visible part of the eye consists of the following structures. I'll probably pronounce these things wrong, so don't. There's the sclera. The whitish outer layer provides structural support. There's the iris, the colored part of the eye that controls the size of the pupil, and the pupil itself, the center opening that regulates the amount of light entering the eye. There's the extraocular muscles. There are 6 of them that control eye movements, allowing us to look in different directions. There's color differentiation. The human eye can differentiate approximately 10 million different colors. 10 million different colors. Blinking. On an average, a person blinks 4,200,000 times a year. If you were to give a nickel for every blink, you'd make 210,000 annually. Brain functionality. Seeing is so critical that it takes up more than 50% of your brain's functionality, seeing. Sunburned eyes. Yes, your eyes can be sunburned, and remember, our eyes are a remarkable organ that allows us to perceive the world around us. So now, we talked about the dog's sense of smell, and now we've talked about the human eye. Now, let's compare the dog's vision with humans' vision. Both humans and dogs have rods and cones in their retinas. But dogs have more rods and fewer cones. These variations impact motion detection, color perception, and low light vision. Dogs' pupils can dilate to a larger diameter than ours, enhancing their vision in dim light. Many dog breeds have a tatum lucidum behind the retina, which reflects light and improves their night vision. A dog generally has a wider field of view, up to 250 degrees, due to their eyes being set farther apart. However, this wide peripheral vision compromises their depth perception compared to humans. Humans have higher visual and acuity and can discern finer details. Most dogs' eyesight is about 20/75, meaning an object they barely recognize at 20 feet is clear for a person with normal vision at 75 feet. Dogs don't see colors as vividly as humans do due to the lack of cones. While we perceive a spectrum of colors, dogs primarily see in shades of blue and yellow. Dogs excel in low light conditions because of their abundant rods and tatum lucidum. Their night vision surpasses ours, making them adept at seeing in the dark. So in summary, while humans have better visual acuity and color perception, dogs compensate with wider peripheral vision and superior night vision. So, now let's take a look at some of the other pictures here. So, you know who that is, right? And that is Cozy, I believe, with Leah. So go ahead to the next one. I mean, you know, these pups are just incredibly cute. I mean, you know, little baby animals are notoriously cute, but golden retrievers, I mean, they must just take the cake. I mean, it's just unbelievable. This is Cozy when he was little. What's that? Oh, this is a parent speaking, of course. This is my opinion. And you're subject to my opinion because I'm the one speaking, right? All right. Go ahead to the next picture, Kevin. This is one of Rosie's offspring. I'm not sure which one, but this is one of her offspring. After all the same look after, yeah, there you go. All right. Go ahead to the next one, Kevin. This one was one of the last litter we had. This was, I think, the runt of the litter. She was the cutest of them all. All right. So, now, think about we talked about eyesight, okay? Think about animals with exceptional eyesight. What comes to mind? Eagles, exactly. And other large birds as well, for sure. Eagles, known for its eagle eye, the bald eagle has acuity approximately 7 to 8 times higher than humans, so 7 to 8 times. They can spot fish movements from considerable heights despite their masking coloring. Go ahead and show the eagle picture, Kevin, if you would. Oh, I forgot that one. Okay, there you go. Thank you. So, the eagle. Adaptions include filling most of their skulls with eye tissue, switching between monocular and binocular vision, and having 2 focal points in each eye. So their eyesight is just unbelievable. Hawks, also, these raptors boast excellent color vision. Previously used in falconry, they have tawny and brown feathers and curved beak. Owls also have incredible night vision. The American woodcock is known for their panoramic vision. The European robin detects magnetic fields visually. And a broad-tailed hummingbird possesses tetrachromatic vision, allowing them to see a wide spectrum of colors. So, remember, each animal's eyesight is finely tuned for its specific needs. So, think about that for a minute. God has given us and them what we need to thrive, right? You know, we don't need to see what the eagle sees from way up in the sky, 7 to 8 times greater than ours, you know, but the eagle does in order to survive, right? And get its food. So, you know, the incredible detail of all these animals is unbelievable. So when you think about these people that have never heard of Christ, they're out in the boonies, okay? Literally, people call us where we live in the boonies. Well, let me tell you, that's nothing compared to what is out there, right? And you know, they don't have all this stuff that we have to see what all's out there, but they have things in their neck of the woods that reveal God's magnificent power in creation. You look at one of these things with an open mind, and there's no way in the world you're going to think that happened by accident. Nothing in life worthwhile happens by accident, okay? Everything has a purpose, and it's there for a reason, and our Creator is written all over this stuff. There's just no way it could happen by accident or from some big bang or whatever. Think about your ear. Did you know that your ears are self-cleaning? Did you know that our sensitivity is above 85 decibels, can damage our hearing? Just one exposure to noise at that level can potentially harm your hearing permanently. There's electrical impulses. When sound reaches your ear, it's converted into an electrical impulse. There's tiny little bones. The smallest bone, I think it's the smallest bone in your body, is in your ear. There's the ears continue to grow throughout your lives. Did you realize that? Naturally, a much slower rate. Non-stop hearing, your ears never turn off. They're always processing sounds, even while you're asleep. And each person's ears are as individual as fingerprints, making them truly unique. So appropriate those remarkable ears are of yours, they're essential for enjoying the symphony of life. So, let's compare our hearing with a dog's hearing. Dogs can hear a much wider range of frequencies. While our hearing extends up to 2300 hertz, dogs can detect sounds up to 23,000 hertz, ours is, and a dog's is 45,000, so close to double. This heightened sensitivity allows dogs to perceive high-pitched sounds that are beyond our range. Both humans and dogs have binary hearing, meaning we have 2 ears that our brains integrate for spatial awareness. Dogs' ear canals are deeper than ours, acting as much better funnels to carry sound to their eardrums. Dogs excel at locating the source of sounds due to their 18 ear muscles compared to our 6 muscles. They can tilt and rotate their ears to pinpoint specific sounds, enhancing their situational awareness. On average, a dog's hearing is approximately 4 times more sensitive than humans. Their acute perception of sound intensity makes them highly attuned to their environment. So, think about, we're just comparing dogs and humans to see how they compare, but there's so many other animals out there, and they all have their own unique creation. They're created in unique ways that are fit for their need and their survival. And we haven't even touched on flowers and mountains and skies, sunsets, and you name it. There's just so much out there. It's unbelievable. Think of mountains, for example. Go ahead, Kevin, and show the mountain. This is gonna, when he gets it, it's going to be Mount Rainier in Washington State, which is a beautiful scene and is often, if I remember correctly, covered by clouds. So to get a shot of that mountain is really wonderful. The tallest mountain, can anybody tell me which is the tallest mountain? Anybody? No? Everest? You're close, but actually not. Exactly. Who said that? John? All right. So, the tallest mountain that stands above sea level is Mount Everest. But the tallest mountain is, and I don't know how to pronounce it. If we consider the combined height from its submarine base in the Hawaiian Trough to its peak, Mauna Kea on the island of Hawaii, I don't know how to pronounce it, surpasses them over Mauna Kea has a total height of approximately 10,205 meters, or over 33,000 feet, with just under 14,000 feet being above sea level. So when you consider, the tallest mountain not factoring in the water, it would be Mauna Kea in Hawaii. So while Everest holds the title of the highest peak above the water, Mauna Kea's base to peak measurement makes the tallest when considered the entire structure. So I'm pointing out some of these things because there's so much out there that God has created for us to enjoy. It's unbelievable. It's just far past, anything that we could ever come up with. And this is visible, and this is observed. This being nature is observed by every human being on this planet, because everywhere on this planet has its own beautiful aspects of where that area. And then there's the deepest ocean. Anybody know where the deepest ocean is? That's right. Mariana Trench holds the title of the deepest ocean trench on Earth, located in the western Pacific Ocean, approximately 200 kilometers or 124 miles east of the Mariana Islands. It stretches about 1,580 miles in length and 43 miles in width. The Challenger Deep, found at the southern end of this trench, reaches a maximum known depth of just under 11,000 meters, or 36,000 feet approximately, below sea level. To put it in a perspective, This deepest point is over 1.2 miles farther from sea level than the Mount Everest. So, think of how high Mount Everest is. This is 1.2 miles further down than that is high. Does that make sense? So, I can't wait to see what this world is going to look like when God eliminates sin and recreates this world perfect the way He had designed it to be in the beginning. If we think this is beautiful now, which it is, we haven't seen anything, is the way I see it. Think about the stars. Go ahead, Kevin, and show us our Milky Way galaxy. Isn't that beautiful? We live in that. We live in that galaxy. And that's just one of gobs and gobs of galaxies out there. The total, now this is not Milky Way specific, but the total number of stars visible to the naked eye from Earth is approximately 9,000 across both hemispheres. So 9,000 from the naked eye, okay? There are about 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. That's just what we can see through telescopes and whatever, right? 2 trillion galaxies, all right? Each containing about 1 million stars on the average. And they don't really know, to be quite honest, but this is what they're estimating, all right? They're just making some wild guesses from what they can see. But we can see so little of what God has out there. I mean, and we're going to be able to travel the universe, not just our galaxy, which is huge in and of itself, but other galaxies and beyond. It's just going to be unbelievable what God has in store for those who want to live with Him forever and trust and obey Him. In Patriarchs and Prophets, it tells us the students should be led to see God in all the works of creation. Teachers should copy the example of the great teacher, who from the familiar scenes of nature drew illustrations that simplified his teachings and impressed them more deeply upon the minds of his hearers. The birds caroling in the leafy branches, the flowers of the valley and the lofty trees, the fruitful lands, the springing grain, the barren soil, the setting sun gliding the heavens, and its golden beams, all served as means of illustration. He connected the visible works of the Creator with the words of life which He spoke, that whenever these objects should be presented to the eyes of His hearers, their thoughts might revert to the lessons of truth He had linked with them. So, when people, wherever you are, whoever you are, when you look at the nature God has given us, God's love and His creative power, intelligent design is written all over it. The impressive deity manifest in the pages of Revelation is seen upon the lofty mountains, the fruitful valleys, the broad, deep oceans. The things of nature speak to man of his Creator's love. He has linked us to Himself by unnumbered tokens in heaven and earth. This world is not all sorrow and misery. God is love. Is written upon every opening bud, upon the petals of every flower, upon every spire of grass. Though the curse of sin has caused the earth to bring forth thistles and thorns, there are flowers upon the thistles and thorns that are hidden by roses. All things in nature testify of the tender, fatherly care of our God and to His desire to make His children happy. His prohibitions and injunctions are not intended to merely to display His authority, but in all that He does, He has the well-being of His children in view. He does not require them to give up anything that would be for their best interest to retain. There's so many examples in the Bible of God reaching out to us through nature, Think of Jonah and the whale, Balaam's donkey, the solar eclipse, which we saw not too long ago, lunar eclipses. Not all of these things are in the Bible necessarily, but they're things that God is reaching out to us to teach us lessons and things. Think of the Northern Lights. We just saw a beautiful song from Ashley that she shared that had the Northern Lights displayed in the sky. They are magnificent. There are flowers that are beyond, there's so many. There's 400,000 diverse species on Earth. 400,000, that's what they know about. The chances are there's more than that. Trees, think about the trees. There are 3 trillion trees on Earth. Who counted those, right? Over 73,000 tree species, just types of trees. I mean, it's just beyond our imagination. All nature listens and obeys God. Think about that. All of nature that we've seen obey God. They follow what He has directed for them. Our Rosie, when she gave birth, she had never gone to class. She had never been taught how to give birth, how to take care of the young when they pop out. She knew instinctively how to do it, and she followed her Creator's direction, if you will, right? All of the animals are that way. They follow their Creator. What about us? We are God's most intelligent creation. We are made in His image. Do we listen and obey God, or feel we can do things our way? Do we think we're smart enough not to need God? Think about it. All of God's creation is meant to bring praise to God. The beautiful flowers, the singing birds, the babbling brook, the roaring waterfall, the majestic mountains, the spectacular sunset or sunrise. Do we, His most intelligent creation, created in His image, bring Him glory by praising Him with song, word, thought, and action? Behind the scenes, God is orchestrating things in our lives so we will see evidence of His love and wonder. Take note that He is real and loving, that there is good and evil. Which am I attracted to? In James 4:17 it says, anyone then who knows the good he ought to do and doesn't do it sins. So in Revelation 7:9 it tells us, after this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, language, standing before them, before the throne and in front of the Lamb. They were wearing white robes and were holding palm branches in their hands. So, which are we attracted to? The good or the bad? Are we going to listen to our Creator and follow in what He's directed to us? He's given us minds that we can reason, where animals don't have the minds that He's given us. But what do we do with that He's given us? Are we following God's direction and counsel for us? He's given us free will. What are we going to do with that? I pray that we will all follow and obey our Creator, follow what He has laid out for us, that we'll be among those that stand in the presence of God one of these days soon. Thank you, everyone. Our closing hymn is "This Is My Father's World." No, nah. By the way, as we're getting the song ready, I have my sermon notes printed and out on the table for anybody that would like to take a copy. There's things I didn't get to share. This is my Father's world. Shall we stand?
Is my Father's world, and to marvelous the music of the spheres. This is my Father's will. I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees and skies and seas. Is in the wonders wrought. This is my Father's world. The birds and carols raise. The morning light, the lily white, declare their Maker's praise. This is my Father's world. He shines in all that's fair. On the rustling grass I hear him pass. He speaks to me everywhere. This is my Father's world. Oh, let me ne'er forget that though the wrong seems oft so strong, good is the ruler yet. This is my Father's world. Why should my heart be sad? The Lord is King, let the heavens ring. God reigns, let the earth be glad.
Shall we bow our heads? Dear Lord, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your many blessings. Thank you for all that you've given to us to enjoy out in nature. There's so much way beyond what we can grasp or fathom, the amount of beauty that you've given to us out there. We can just see a little glimpse here and there of all that you've given to us, Lord. And I pray that we will trust and follow you each and every day, that we'll be able to join you in the clouds to take us home and be able to enjoy the things you've created for eternity, that we can learn and study you and the nature you've provided forever. Thank you so much for being with us and for your many blessings and the love that you have displayed for us, for our benefit. Help us, Lord, to trust you each and every day and allow you to guide us to your throne. In Christ's name, amen.